Hey guys, today I'm filming my winter favorites and product updates for 2019, and it's a little sad to me because I've always filmed a monthly favorites video since the beginning of my channel, except for when I moved from my parents' house to my house with Justin. I did combine a 2-month favorites, but this is my December, January, and February favorites all put together because I've been so behind on videos. So this is just my winter favorites, and I do have my product updates from my December and January full face of first impression videos. So we are going to jump right into the beauty favorites, and I still don't have a ton considering it's been 3 months. So my first beauty favorite would be the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer, and this is something I've had in my collection for a little while. I actually had gotten this as something that was decluttered to me, and I tried it and I thought, oh, this is kind of thick, I don't know, but this does such a good job of filling and blurring my pores, and it does have that really nice thick consistency, but it doesn't make makeup look weird on top of it. It actually works really well with my skin, and of course I've been pairing this with more glowy hydrating primers all over my face, so that might have something to do with it. So I'll have to see how well this consistency works with some of my more mattifying primers, but this is really good. So if you do have more of like a combo oily skin type and you're looking for a pore filling primer, I would recommend this one. This is huge though. I know that they do make like travel sizes. I would recommend that personally, but I'm really happy that I have this. It's gonna take me forever to get through. You have 0.95 fluid ounces, so almost a full ounce here, but this is a really good primer. The next thing that I've been loving is the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Loose Setting Powder. Now you guys know how much I love the Peach Perfect powder, but during the winter time when my skin is a little bit less oily, that can look a little dry on me, especially up around my hairline. It can look a little dry, and as you know, that one oxidizes on me. It's a little bit too peachy, but this one is great. This is a little bit more yellow tone, but it isn't too dark for me, which is fantastic. I don't notice this one really oxidizing on me. So this is a beautiful setting powder. It makes my skin look airbrushed. It gives a little bit more coverage, even though it really is translucent. My skin just looks more perfected. This does not give any glow, but it also doesn't super mattify me. I was just, working through this, trying to use it up, but then I put it in my winter project pan, which I'll have linked up in the cards, and I realized how much I love this. So I actually highly recommend this for all skin types. And then I have been trying to pan a lot of powders. I've been layering a lot of powders on my skin, so I can sometimes look a little powdery and heavy and cakey. And what I have been finding that I love so much would be a combination of these products. So to apply my pressed powders, what I have been using is the Sigma F23 Soft Angled Contour Brush. And I've never really used this to contour because I think this would just apply too much of a concentrated amount of product on my fair skin. But this is so perfect for applying my pressed powder because this is really soft, but it also has some good density, so I can really pack the powder into my skin, but then I can also buff and sweep it on. And it's tiny enough to get around the nose, between the brows, but it's also large enough that it's not going to take me 10 minutes to set my face. This brush is just so good. I'm so happy that I have it and have discovered this use for it because I've neglected this brush for a long time and it's such good quality, so I definitely recommend that. And then with all the powders I've been using, I have been going in and using my MAC Fix Plus. I used to be absolutely in love with this product years and years ago, and then after I used it up, I was like, maybe it really wasn't that amazing. And then a little while ago, this was part of the 21 Days of Beauty, and I picked up another one, but then I really hadn't used it very much until like this past winter, and it does such a perfect job of melting all of your powders into your skin and making your skin look so much more flawless, and I absolutely love that. It actually does do what everyone says it does, and again, this is not a setting spray, it just melts all the products into your skin. I did use this today. The mist does disperse quite nicely and it does dry down nicely. It has a nice scent. I just have the original one. This is a good product. I'm very happy to have it in my collection, and if this pops up again as one of the 21 Days of Beauty deals, I will pick up another of these. I love it that much. So I'm really happy that was something that I ended up rediscovering. Next, I have a couple of eyeshadow palettes. Now I did film individual reviews on these, so I will have those linked up in the card, so I'm not going to go into too too much detail. My first palette is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry. I love the colors in here. They're right up my alley. I think they're very flattering with my blonde hair, my green eye, my fair skin. I just love these colors on me, and they performed so well. So this palette has a very similar formula to Naked Heat. So they are more pigmented, but they're also more powdery, but they're very easy to work with. I much prefer this formula to the Naked 1, 2, and 3 palette. So this is something that I really enjoyed. I'm very happy to have it in my collection, and I can see myself pulling for this quite a bit. So again, if you want to see all the looks I created and you want more information, check out my review, which I'll have linked in the cards. So next I have the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. This is the Huda Beauty New Nude palette. I got this one for Christmas as well. It is so stunning. It is very easy to work with as well. Now it is very powdery, and I do get a good bit of fallout with the more glittery shades. However, the final look is so amazing, and I've tried a couple of the Mini Obsessions palettes and I wasn't in love with the way those perform, especially the matte, but this palette and Desert Dusk I think perform the same, and they work really, really well for me. I think these colors are so beautiful. I love that they have some more pink, purple tones and some warm tones in there. And I'm absolutely in love with the look I created today and all the looks I've created, and I will have this review linked up in the cards as well. Usually I'll post my palette review after my favorites video, but we'll see which order they go up in. But if it hasn't been posted yet, it will be posted next, but I highly recommend this palette as well. I do have one lip product favorite, and it feels like a while since I mentioned a Lippie. This is the ColourPop Matte X Lippie Stick in the shade Cami, which is a beautiful, deep, warm rose. Unfortunately, mine is broken, so I do want to purchase a new one at some stage. The Matte X finishes are amazing. So they are very thin, they glide on very smoothly, but they are super pigmented and they do completely set down. It really wears like a liquid lipstick, except it's so much more comfortable. So I definitely do want to purchase this shade again, and I'm interested in checking out more colors. I don't need any lip products, but this one is so good, and I love the way that this looks on me, and the formula is absolutely fantastic. So I would definitely recommend this color and this formula in general. I don't really love the other Lippie sticks, but the Matte X ones are incredible. Then I've got 4 nail polishes from KL Polish. So there's a little bit of drama going around. I think Kathleen, you'll see Kathleen's video by the time I post this one, but Kathleen is supposed to be posting a video giving more details about what's happening with her brand, but I think she's going to be coming out with a new nail polish line. Something obviously happened with her partner where they're seeming like they're trying to take over the brand or something, and that she maybe has lost creative control, or they're trying to just take over, and she's leaving, which is crazy. So I don't know what they're gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm really excited and hopeful that she will be coming out with a new nail polish brand, because I think that her formula is amazing, and I hope that the formula stay the same, and that it would be cool if she can make these colors again. She probably can't, but new colors will be amazing. And I love my KL polishes so much. I'm going to keep these forever, because I don't know who's taking over her brand or what her partner is doing, but I know what Kathleen created, and they're amazing, amazing polishes. So I absolutely love all of these. They're all really similar, but they look different on the nails to me, and I can justify all of them, but like, you don't need to, you know? And what I've got here would be Aquarius, which is a pinky tan color. I have Lumiere, which is like a pinky mauve, Zoey, which has a lot more purple in it, and then we've got Alyssa, which is lighter of a pink and a little bit warmer. Like Alyssa and Lumiere are definitely the most similar. And then in comparison, Aquarius is a lot more brown. So I love all 4 of these, highly recommend them all. They're amazing cream polishes, opaque in 2 coats. It does have a thick formula, so I can see in the future you need to add some thinner to it, but that's not a big deal. I prefer thin formulas over thick because I don't have to apply as many coats. And then she also has the really wonderful large paddle applicator, which is my favorite. So definitely recommend these. I know a lot of the polishes are sold out on the website, and I was hoping that they would do one more restock before they close completely, but I know it takes them a while to get new shipments from their makers or their factories or whatever. So I'm really happy that I have so many polishes from Kathleen Lights, and I'll be very sad that her brand is going, but I'm again gonna cross my fingers that she will start a new brand. So then we have all of my product updates. And as I said, these were things I featured in full face of first impression videos for December and January. So I am just going to start by talking about the things in my December video, which I will have linked up in the cards. The primer I used was the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Luminizing Primer, and this had a really nice consistency. It was easy to blend onto the skin. It did give some really nice glow. I did apply this all over, and then I tried to concentrate it in my pores. It blurred the pores a little bit, but also because it's illuminating, it added a glow, not like glitter, but a glow in that area, which I felt like emphasized the pores. So it seems kind of like counterproductive. So for me, I would not purchase this, and I do like the original much more for pore filling, but this did have like a nice consistency, and it was nice for all over, just not my favorite for pores. Then I used the Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation. This is awesome. It gives such insane coverage, and it was a thicker consistency, but it wasn't as bad as the Kat Von D. I would like to be able to see these in person potentially. Maybe I'll buy it from Sephora online so I can return it just to be safe, but I would definitely love to try out this foundation because this is the kind of coverage that I'm looking for. If you've tried it, I would love to know your experience with it. Then I had the Bare Minerals Ready Bronzer. I did recently give that away to a friend because I don't really need another bronzer in my collection. It was pretty light and it had more of a satin finish. It was just okay, but I have several other bronzers that I prefer, so I passed that along. I did also end up passing on the Tarte Goddess Glam Eye and Cheek Palette. I have those shades in my collection. They performed well. They were very beautiful, but as I said, I already have those shades, so I gave it to my sister. She actually is like a college recruiter type of thing, so she travels quite a bit, and I thought those are her kind of colors, and I thought it would be an awesome travel palette for her, so I'm hoping that she uses it, and I can't wait to hear what she thinks of it. Then I had some random products that I tested. This is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. It's their clear brow gel, and it does have more of a plastic bristle brush, and it does do a nice job of holding my brows in place, but I am not obsessed with this. I still like the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel better. I just like that brush so much more than this one because sometimes if I'm pressing a little bit too hard, it can remove the color underneath. And I also feel like this can look a little shiny if I get it on my skin, and it takes a little bit longer to dry down. So this is still a good product. I have a couple more that I will use up, but overall I do prefer the Anastasia, and if I had to purchase one, it would be ABH. And then I tried out the NARS Pro Prime Smudge Proof eyeshadow base that people with oily lids have been raving about for years. I was so excited to finally get this, and it worked. Don't get me wrong, my eyeshadows don't crease, my oils don't break through on my lids, but I mentioned this recently. I'm wondering if my eyelids have just become less greasy over the years because the Urban Decay Original Eyeshadow Primer Potion works really well for me. The Milani Eyeshadow Primer works really nicely as well. I do love that this has a doe foot. I just like that so much more, but I do apply with a doe foot and blend it out with my fingers, so I might as well just use a squeeze tube applicator. This is something that I'll be happy to use and use up, but it's not something I'm even tempted to repurchase because the Milani works just as well for me. And the last thing I had mentioned in this video was the Bare Minerals Liquid Lipstick in Swag. This is a really nice cream formula. It doesn't set down completely, but it is more of like a ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip where it's transfer resistant, not transfer proof. The color is beautiful. It was very comfortable on my lips. I told you I was tempted to buy more shades. I don't need to buy more shades, but I will happily use this one that I have here. So now to talk about the product updates from my January full face of first impressions. I will have that linked up in the card so you can see all the products and the application. The first thing was the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I did end up returning that. I felt like it had that greasy residue on the top, and I didn't get past it. I used it like 4 times and I still felt like it was a little greasy on my skin. It did not do anything to blur pores. It didn't help keep me matte. It didn't do anything for my skin. Now y'all know I didn't really care for the Tatcha one either, but the e.l.f. didn't do jack for me. So I just decided to return it even though I got it for a great price. I don't want it to be something that I have to use up or throw away. So I did return that. And then I had tested the Huda Beauty Foundation and I had the shade Angel Food Cake. And this did give really great coverage. It looked very beautiful on the skin. The color oxidized a bit, but I like this consistency. It wasn't too thick and heavy, but it did give good coverage. However, this is so heavily fragranced, like a Estee Lauder Lancome perfume, and the scent lingered on my face for at least an hour, and that was just disgusting to me. I have such a strong sense of smell, like my hearing, terrible, my vision, terrible, but boy, can I smell, and this is way too intense for me. So I would never buy this foundation because I would not be able to get past the scent. But I think that besides that, it is a good product. So it just depends how picky you are about scents. Then I did try out the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I did decide to return this as well. I would love to try this again in the future in a better shade match for me. Because this was so fair, it was more of like highlighting my flaws, and I cannot really be able to test out the formula of that concealer because it isn't really fair because the color is so off for me, but it seemed like it gave good coverage, and from what I've heard from other people, it is really matte, so you need to blend it out pretty quickly, and you guys know I have oily under eyes, so I think the formula would work well for me. I also have the ColourPop white concealer that I'm using as a mixer, and I don't even pull for that very much because I do have most of my concealers that match me pretty well, so I didn't need it for a lightener product, so I did return that. And in the future, when I use up some more concealers, I would love to purchase that one again and really compare that against the Tarte Shape Tape, which is my favorite. I just need the correct shade to truly test it out. Next, I had the Urban Decay Afterglow blush in the shade Fetish. This is a beautiful pinky mauve color. It is like a, no, I think it's matte. I was gonna say satin, but I think it's more of a matte finish blush. It didn't look too dry on the cheeks. It was pigmented, it blended out nicely, but for some reason I'm not over the moon about this, probably because it's not coral. You guys know I'm so in love with peach and coral blushes, but this is something unique to my collection, and I am happy to have this. A good formula. They discontinued these for some reason, which doesn't make sense because Urban Decay doesn't have other blushes, so you think that the only reason they would get rid of these was to bring out something new, so I don't get it, but it is a good product, and I found this at Marshall's. And then I had tried out the Lime Crime Venus Extra Small Rose Gold palette. I did think that the colors were very pretty. I did create another look using the other shimmer so I could test out all of the shades, and the shades were very pretty. They were quite pigmented. They blended out nicely, but even for $10, just only 4 eyeshadows, and there was so much bulky packaging. If this had been like a little bit larger than like a blush from the Balm, but that thin, that would have been beautiful. Like the same beautiful design of the packaging, but so much slimmer. It did not make sense why the packaging was that bulky, except I know they were trying to have similar packaging to their other Venus palettes. But again, you could have the same design with a more functional packaging. So I did end up returning that as well because I felt like I just didn't need it. I thought the formula was good, but I have so many eyeshadows in my collection, I couldn't justify it. Then I had the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Volume. I'm really happy I got this set. I need to play with this a little bit more, look up some more tutorials. I feel like because I didn't cut my crease, I wasn't able to see this as well. It wasn't as noticeable. I need to try this with some liner to emphasize it as well. So if you guys have any YouTubers or any specific videos featuring glitter liquid liner and tips of how to create looks with it, please let me know. Like I said, I think Kelly Gooch has a video on it and I just need to go back and rewatch it, but this is a nice product and I got it for such a good deal that I would recommend that. And then I had tested out the Beauty Bakery liquid lipstick, and it was a beautiful color. It was the shade Versailles. This was one of the longest wearing lip products I've ever tried, which is very impressive. It reminded me of the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink lip colors. So it was pretty darn comfortable. It did get a little bit drying at the end of the day. It was pretty comfortable. It didn't look completely matte. There was a little bit of a shine to it, but it was transfer proof once it like set. But this felt very sticky, and I am someone that messes my lips all day long, so I cannot stand something sticky, which is a reason why I have not decided to keep my Maybelline matte inks. Even though they work so well, they're very comfortable, they're long lasting, because they're sticky, I cannot get past it. And that is how this formula was. Now, I would love to know your thoughts if you tried it, because I was impressed with the longevity of it, but I cannot get past the sticky factor, so I did end up returning that as well. So I returned a ton of the products from that first impression video, which is a little sad, but again, I'm at this point where even if I got it for a great price, even if it was very inexpensive, I don't want to keep stuff just because of that, because either I'm going to end up trashing it, decluttering it, or it's just going to sit in my collection for a while, I don't want to take the time to use up products I don't like. So that is why I decided to return all those things, and those are all of my product updates. Now for my random favorites. Now some of these are so old because these were things that I was going to mention in December, the very end of November. So the first thing would be a skincare inventory Excel spreadsheet. So Meg's Makeup 8 posted a video a while ago where she created a makeup inventory spreadsheet, and I've been using that for quite some time. And because I've been filming YouTube videos for so long and I've been doing monthly hauls for so long, I was able to go through and write down all of my products, and then when I got them, I organized them from oldest to newest and by category, and I'm absolutely obsessed with that spreadsheet. It is so fun to remove things when I use it up. Not as much fun to add things when I buy things or get things as a gift, but I do just love the process. And then I did decide to create one for my skincare products as well, because even though I do my sample project pans and I work through products, sometimes I don't remember how old things are, and I want to be mentally tracking my full-size products because I haven't been reaching for those as much either. So that was so amazing. I loved putting that together. Just like spreadsheets like that are just so fun to me, but I have no idea how to create them. So I will have Megan's video linked down below. So next I have a couple movies that I fell in love with. The first is called I Can Only Imagine, and I watched this when I was home for Christmas with my family. This is a Christian-based movie, but it's such a good story. I cried my eyes out. If you want to watch some good Christian-based movies, I would say I Can Only Imagine and The Shack, incredible. And I know The Shack is based off a book, I Can Only Imagine, so I'm really blanking on the name of that group. Basically, one of the singers in this group has a really hard life and a really rough experience with his dad and growing up, and it just like comes full circle and talks about like he gets interested in music and then how he gets interested in worship music. It is so good. And this is this guy's, like, obviously it's exaggerated because it's a movie, but this is his real life story, and it was so touching, and I cried so hard. So I would definitely recommend you guys check out that movie. Then I did watch the Bird Box movie. I know people are like totally over it by now. Again, keep in mind that I watched this in December, and it was very interesting. I probably cried at this one too. I cry at movies all the time, which is really weird. I don't cry as much about like real life incidents, but things that happen on TV movies, absolutely. And I thought that was a really good, and like boy and girl, like so sweet. Now some parts of that movie like did not make sense to me, like the ending, just like her doctor was just right there, like, oh, how'd you get there, sister? Like, did not make any sense. But overall, I thought it was a very good movie. The other thing that I love would be the R. Kelly documentary. First off, I'm so proud of Lifetime because they did such an amazing job with the way that they filmed and edited. Like, it was a really good production of that documentary, and I think they did a great job interviewing a ton of different people. I think they really captured the story, and they did give you like a little bit of background on R. Kelly. Now, he is someone that I've known of. I know some of his music, but growing up, I was never like a huge R. Kelly fan, and I had never heard any of the rumors about him. I did not know anything about this until this documentary aired, but it was so good, and it was very interesting to see. And it was just so gross to me because yes, R. Kelly was going for people that were like 17, 18 years old, but he's getting older and older. So R. Kelly's freaking 40 going after a 17, 18-year-old, which is so disgusting and wrong. But the part that really got to me is when you are seeing how he's got a couple of the girls like living in his house, and then when you learned about the serious control he had over them and all of the brainwashing that was going on, that was the most interesting to me, and it was so very sad. And this is something that I'm very interested in. If you guys do not know, what I want to do is to be a domestic violence sexual assault counselor. I do have some experience in that kind of counseling, and I feel like that is like what I was meant to do. So these kind of things are very interesting to me. They get me really like worked up, and I was really happy with the way that this was documented and portrayed. And I would love to know your all's thoughts if you all watched it as well. And then I do have one song favorite, and this would be Head Above Water by Avril Lavigne. I'll have the music video linked down below. So Avril Lavigne has, you know, like disappeared off the face of the planet for a while, and then she came back. Also, it's very weird. There is a Avril Lavigne conspiracy that she committed suicide and that her body double took over for her and started performing as her, and they'll be like, look, this is old Avril and this is what's her name? Vanessa, Natasha. I can't remember the girl's name that supposedly took over for her. But like, listen to how her voice changed. I think Avril became less of like that like hard rock skater girl into a little bit more of like that poppy punk, but I don't think that that means that that's not Avril. I don't know. For me, I have not seen enough evidence where I think that that is actually a true conspiracy, but it is very interesting. But anyway, I have listened to a lot of the other new music that she's put out and I don't love it. I love her old stuff, but the new stuff not so much. But this song is amazing. So it is a worship song, which I did not expect from her, but this is basically talking about her experience with Lyme's disease. This song is so good. Literally, it has made me cry. I have gotten chills all over my body. It is such an amazing song that I absolutely love. I highly recommend you guys check this out. Just, it was so amazing. Her voice is amazing. She is beautiful, and this is such an amazing song. So guys, those are my winter favorites and product updates for 2019. Hopefully I will get back on my monthly favorites, but we'll see what happens. How did you guys feel about me doing this seasonal favorites as opposed to a monthly favorites? I would love to know what you're thinking about that in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts on any of the products that I mentioned here today, and I would love to know what were your go-to products this winter season. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.